What? How am I ever going to answer this question?
Hi there, everyone. My name is Shawn. I'm a second year English and media student. I am an intern for the blog, and today we have a special guest. There will be timestamps around here to guide the structure of the video, so feel free to skip to your area of interest. Right, now back to the special guest for today.
Hi, this is new for me, so hello. I'm a second year English and French student who's also done CELTA with Shawn. So we know each other from our course, and hopefully I can give you some good answers today.
Well, I'm really excited to be interviewing you today because you're a very interesting person. You make everything interesting, I feel. Today we're gonna be asking you about one of your modules that you take, which is the history of English language. Molly, feel free to go on and on about it. What is this module about, and why do you like it?
Okay, so history of the English language has to be definitely up there with one of my two favourite modules this year, taught by Alexia. Basically, it covers so much content that it should be overwhelming, but it's just so interesting that you just love it at the same time. So we learn all about the history of the English language, how it became what it is today, so how all the events in the past have shaped the English language, obviously. It covers all things from, like the Anglo-Saxons and the Angles, the Saxons, the Jutes and the Frisians and the Norman invasion, things like that, how French and Latin and all these different languages have sort of shaped the language that was being used in England at the time. It's really interesting. It sounds quite when I put it like that, it sounds quite boring, but it's so interesting, and Alexia brings everything to life.
Why does history interest you?
I think it's because I know nothing about it. So in school I stopped history as soon as I could because it wasn't anything that I was interested in at the time. But now that I'm in university, and it's so interesting to think about it through the medium of English language. I think that's such a unique way, like a unique entry point into history, to study it through something I'm already interested in, which is obviously the English language because I'm doing my course. It's really interesting. I've learned so much without even knowing it this term. Like the other day I stopped and just looked back, and there was just so much information that I could just reel off my tongue because of Alexia's module. It's amazing. And all the assignments have been so really interesting, which is strange for me because I don't usually enjoy assignments, if anybody does. But yeah, it's been really, really, really cool.
How's the workload? What's the structure like? Yeah.
So we have 2 lectures every week with Alexia, a lecture and a seminar, and then the assignments are there's 3 ways that we're assessed on this course. So we have weekly tests, which I think are 10% of the module. So every week we have like a little 10-question test about the topic of the week and the lectures and what we've learned in that week. So these weekly tests, they all get grouped up, marked and then grouped up into, I think it's 10% of the module, either that or 15 or 20. And that all gets pushed up into 1 grade. And then the second assessment is, we've done this already this year. It's an analysis and a commentary of a text, and you have to identify when it was written, because in this module we study Old English, Middle English, early modern English, and it's just such a long stretch of time. So she gives you a text and you have to place it in history and figure out when it was written, which I found really interesting. So you have to sort of analyse all the words and the letters that we don't have today and things like that, the contextual nuggets in the text, and figure out do your own sort of research, like a little check to figure out where in history it was created. Third assessment is the essay. So that's worth 50% of the whole grade, and that's what I'm planning now. I've just done a structure of it yesterday. I think there were 6 questions we could choose from, and they're all super specific. So you can like sort of choose your own, what you're interested in, what you're good at. So I've chosen the question that's about the Indo-European language family and how the entire English language has been sort of shaped by the relations it's had with other languages. And this is something like starting the course, I would have looked at this question and gone, what? How am I ever going to answer this question? But you know, everything's been given to us in such a structured really interesting way that everything is sort of clicked into place with every week that you're on the course. So I feel really confident about it, and I'm actually quite excited to start writing it, which is a strange feeling.
Like structure before, right? Do you do your reading first? Do you do your structuring first? How does your essay planning work?
Well, I think it changes really depending on what it is, but this time I've made my plan before I've done all my reading and my research. I've actually made a little list of books to read and articles that I want to read. And I've made like a little list of links as well, because I sort of know where I'm going to go with the essay, but you know, it always sort of changes and sorts itself out as you start writing it. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, I like to plan before I write my essays. Obviously, I think most of us do that. But I like to know exactly where I'm going and what I need to cover. I make like a little checklist of things that I need to mention, so I know I'm covering all my bases and things like that.
That's good. Thank you for that. Okay. What do you wish you knew before taking the module?
More about history, I would say. If I had to name one thing, I suppose it would be probably nobody on the course who knows history less than I do before I got on this course. You know, it's Alexia is so good with things like that. Like, she doesn't assume any past knowledge of things. Like, you can tell that a lot of people on the course did history, and they're quite knowledgeable of, you know, England's history and things like that. But she doesn't assume anything. Well, you know, she assumes like linguistically we know the terminology from first year and things like that. But it develops like in the first few weeks, and then after, it all links in so well that you sort of get swept up in all the knowledge and everything. You don't actually realise how much you're learning. Yeah, I think it's been really interesting for me not knowing much about history and coming into this course being like bombarded with all these facts and dates and things like that. But no, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it, and like not knowing anything about history before, it hasn't made the course difficult for me or anything. Obviously it's quite difficult, it's quite challenging at times, but you know, it's given in such a way that Alexia is so supportive and everything, that she preemptively sort of anticipates what the student needs are, and we know we can always reach her by email. We've got a discussion board on Canvas and things like that. Even though everything's given online, we feel very connected to her, and I have all good things to say about Alexia. She's a really good lecturer.
On to the next question. Did you have any worries about the module, or you know, before coming in or during this whole
I think obviously the lack of knowledge on the history was a bit of a worry for me, and seeing, you know, in the first lesson they go through all the assessments and the titles of the essays you're going to have to read in the books and things like that. It seemed like a lot, and looking at the questions at the time, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to answer this question. How am I meant to write an essay on this thing? I don't even know most of the words that are in the question, let alone like how to answer it. All my worries sort of disappeared over the course, because everything clicks into place and you don't realize how much you're learning until somebody asks you a question. You're like, oh, actually this, and then you reel off all this information you've learned. You're like, oh my god, I've learned so much. I'm like a historian now, like a language historian. It seems quite daunting at first, as most modules do, really, because they are so specific. But no, it's been really good, and my worries have been eased, especially with if you've been in a lecture with Alexia, you know you can't really be worried because she's so like nice and the lessons are chilled, and no, she
is the answer to all these questions that I have for you today.
Yeah. I have all good things to say about Alexia. I think she's awesome, but yeah, she is a big part of why I enjoy the course, I suppose.
Amazing. Do you have any advice for future students taking this course?
Yes, I do. So my top tip would be keep up with the reading, because through this course you have to read a book, the Bow and Cable book. Every week you have like a chapter or two to keep up with, to stay on top of all the information you're like given in the lectures. So as you all know, like reading on English courses can be very extensive and it takes ages. So as soon as you start missing chapters and you're behind, suddenly you've got hundreds and hundreds of pages to read before like tomorrow, and it just adds up. It's really crucial on this course because the book is so specialized and it's really good with everything that Alexia is following. Like the structure follows really well. So yeah, definitely keep up with the reading because you will need it, especially with all the weekly tests as well. You need to be on top of everything every week.
Yeah, so far for most of the English students, no matter what module they take, that is their advice. Keep up with the reading.
Really? Oh my goodness. Yeah, keep up with the reading because you will thank yourself later.
How did your first year or your modules before, how did they prepare you for this specific module?
In the first year, obviously you have all the compulsory modules like grammar and meaning with Cornelia. Phonetics has really set me up well for this year because history of English, it doesn't assume any knowledge historically, but you need to have your linguistic knowledge because there's lots of terms and things that you would need to be familiar with before. Obviously as a second year English course, it's not going to be like easy. So yeah, it is really good how those modules have set me up for it. Yeah, I feel really prepared, and the modules really do roll on well from each other. You can tell they've really thought about the content and what you're going to need. But definitely phonetics and grammar and meaning, I'm so thankful I did those, especially with CELTA we did as well. Phonetics was really useful for that.
Well, Molly, you spent your semester in Swansea, right? If I'm not wrong. The online semester in Swansea. How was that like?
It's been strange. Definitely different. It's been quite nice to sort of roll out of bed every morning and put comfy clothes on and hide behind the screen, do lectures. But
that's my favorite part.
Yeah. And having like non-stop coffee and tea every day and going to the kitchen, grabbing things. Yeah. But I felt quite cut off from my course. As you said earlier, like that sense of community that we have before and after lectures, just those chats in the hall and things like that. You don't realise how beneficial they are and how much you need them until you can't have them anymore. Having the WhatsApp groups for our course has been a bit of a lifesaver, really, just to see everybody else struggling the same as we have. But it's such a different experience, isn't it? You can't really compare it to anything we've ever done before because you literally just have to sit at home and do a university degree. You know what I miss the most though? Like just go into the library between lectures with my mates and just chatting about what we're going to do for our coursework or what we're going to do for the assignments and things like that. Just switching off between lectures because I feel like I'm working non-stop this semester.
True. Yeah.
There's nothing to break it up. It's been really nice to have the weekends and be able to hang out with my friends and play music and things like that.
And that's about it. Thank you so much, Molly, for your time. It is very interesting, even for me, to hear about your history of English language module. It's my first time hearing about it as well. If there is any questions that you have or any concerns about the course or the module that you have, I think we'll be able to list maybe Molly's contact down below or Alexia's contact. You can contact someone, don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you for listening. We shall close this here. We'll see you in the next one.